Hello and welcome to the Game Slam panel. You will hear 4 game pitches from indie game developers, and 4 of our highly critical judges will explain what they did right and, mostly, what they did wrong about their games. So I would like you to welcome our participants. We have developers and critics. Developers include Saha from Sandy Louisa, James Barnard, Spring Loaded, Diptoma Mukherjee, Zombies in the House. They're sitting here. Barry Silvestre from Keyboard. And critics are sitting here. Peter Heinrich, Amazon. Russ Scammell, Unity. Woo! Tom Sperry, Exit Games. And David Chiu, Congregate. So the first game that we'll be looking over is called Bricks and Minions by Saha. Sandy Louisa, please come here on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm representing a game called Bricks and Minions. It is a very small flash game. Basically, it was made in my free time, so it's not a really serious game. I just wanted to make a humorous type of game. So let me start the presentation. It's mostly a flash game, which is physics puzzler, but it's about a shooter type of the game as well. So basically, you have to shoot out the ragdoll instead of bullets in this game, which is pretty much fun. If you actually play the game, you will notice that it's not entirely like a block removal physics puzzler game, but it's very much like red remover game. So if you see, it's like your minions are there in your cannon as a bullet, and your job is to shoot the bricks off from the screen. Okay, if you have played the game, you will get the feel of it. But the thing that is different from other physics game is that all the bricks do not have the same gravity orientation. Basically, different colored bricks have a different gravity. So there are 4 colored bricks with a 4 different gravity, and you have to actually make use of this property in order to complete or in order to get a level done. And it has got also 30 levels of increasing difficulty. So basically, kind of short game. So inspiration. I got the inspiration from this game, from 2 most popular game, flash game, which many of you might have played it. First is the Blossix, which is actually like the removal of mass number of bricks from the screen. And other is the Ragdoll Cannon, which is used for the launching of the minions or the Ragdoll, which I have placed in my game. So it's like an hybrid of these 2 popular games. So anybody can judge by that. So the game items that are in this game are the blocks with the different gravity orientation. If you can see, the red has the gravity downward, whereas the green has the gravity upwards. Similarly, the blue has their gravity left, and the yellow has their gravity right. So different color shows the different gravity, and that is actually a good thing in the more complicated level which you will face as you play it. And there is the minions, which you have to actually throw it from the cannon. And the two types of main terrain were different terrain were the icy terrain, which has got around 0 friction. So basically everything in this that moves through on the terrain has like it just goes on. It's kind of a smooth. So and there is a bouncy terrain. So anything that falls on this terrain bounces off. And there are the different wooden objects which are not really that necessary thing, but they make up the game thing, like the container and all. So yeah, these are the game items. So the game is about, as I said earlier, it's a physics puzzler game. It's not totally a new type of game, but this getting the different types of gravity and using them for your own benefit is like kind of a new thing which you cannot see in most of the game right now. Sorry. And yeah, and you can shoot your unlimited number of minions. So you can shoot as many minions as possible. There is like no limitations for it. And some levels have like different like a chain system where if you knock down one type of the brick, other types of the brick goes on knocking down, like a ripple effect. So it's like you have to use that chain system and eventually complete a level. It uses the box 2D, which is the real, which gives the real physics engine. It's a really good engine which gives you the feel of the real world, what can actually happen if this falls. And so your aim is to remove all the bricks from the screen, absolutely all the bricks. And the game is only mouse control, so there is no keyboard control. And as I said, there are 30 levels, and the game file is just 3.5 MB, around 3.5 MB, and it's free. Since it's a browser game, it will be free when it's available. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandeep. Now it's time for you to sit in this chair. Okay, and your judge and critic for today will be Peter Heinrich from Amazon.
First of all, let me say that I'm actually a fan of your work. I've seen a bunch of your other games, and I really like them, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Oh, thanks. But as far as Bricks and Minions go, my first problem is the name. I don't understand the name. I don't think it's going to get people excited about it. I came up with a couple others that I think might do something better. Casual Carnage, Ragdoll Rampage. Anyway, so Bricks and Minions I get, I just don't think it jumps out at you and grabs you. Let's see. My video doesn't play. Okay, so we saw the preview. I didn't realize he was going to include slides, otherwise I wouldn't have put this in here. But this just demonstrates the basic mechanism. Like he said, it's a physics game that allows you to interact with some set pieces on each level to remove the blocks. So if we look at Bricks and Minions from the standpoint of typical casual game core features, you know, there are some things that we look for, right? There's the simple interface, which means that there's a limited input mechanism. Usually it's one key or a small number of keys or one click. Those inputs lead to a big output. So in this case, you just click on the screen, you get this really rewarding feeling of shooting a ragdoll and generating a big effect. And typically, this kind of requirement or this kind of feature lends itself well to implementation through some kind of physics. Casual games are also quick to engage, right? So you can jump right in, you don't have to worry about saving your progress. You can play on the bus for 2 minutes or 30 seconds, and when you get off the bus, you can just put it back in your pocket and not worry about it. And then, of course, you know, we all strive for replayability because we want to keep our users engaged. And that means either you have lots and lots and lots of levels, or maybe you have a small number of levels or a single level with lots of random elements. And I think Bricks and Minions tackles all these things really well. I think you've hit on all the core features. There are some secondary features with casual games that I think are worth exploring with respect to Bricks and Minions. These are things that you see in a lot of other casual games, like a colorful or cartoony visual style like Om Nom from Cut the Rope, or the little birds from Tiny Wings. There's sometimes a time factor, there's pressure applied. You have to complete the level in a certain amount of time. Skills to complete the level generally improve with practice. And there's some kind of clear reward system as a result. You know, you gauge your performance on each level based on the amount of time it takes or the number of bullets you shoot, that kind of thing. Also, you want to have clear, self-explanatory rules, so there aren't a lot of introductory screens explaining how to play the game. And there should be some kind of strategy, right? So there's some kind of, you have to formulate an approach to satisfy each level or to complete each level. And again, I think in most of these cases, Bricks and Minions does a good job. You actually hit 4 of the 6 that I think are important. And of the 2 you don't, timing really isn't critical. But the first one there is the one that goes to the heart of my primary criticism of the game, which is that you really need to add some personality. And you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation that you know, this was a quick game, you kind of cranked it out in your free time, you just wanted to kind of do something you know, without a lot of effort, and that shows. But I like the mechanism, I like the game mechanic and the play. I just wish there were a little more engagement, you know, as a player. And this also brings me to some of your other work. So for instance, like Paper Venture, you know, has great user engagement because it has a really cute character. The blue man, is that the blue? What's Mr. Blue is a cute game. I like the little character. I mean, so I know that you can do this because I've seen it in your other games. I just like to see you follow through and apply this to this game maybe before you release it, because I think it would have a significant impact on the engagement that you have with your users. I'd also like you to change the way you ramp up the difficulty. So you mentioned that the levels were organized in increasing difficulty, in order of increasing difficulty. And maybe I'm just terrible, but it felt like some of those early levels were really hard. And I also didn't quite understand the way you rolled out new concepts, and it was a little unclear to me, or I should say it was a little uneven once you introduced them, where they appeared in subsequent levels. So for instance, let's see, I'm thinking, oh, the ice and the bouncy levels, or the surfaces that had an icy feel or a bouncy feel. You introduced the concepts, but then it kind of felt disconnected, and like they weren't really used in subsequent levels like I would expect. So I'd really like to see you rearrange the levels perhaps, or maybe adjust them slightly so that you introduce them and then build on them a little bit more. So a really good example of this is Cut the Rope. They do an excellent job of introducing a new concept, letting you play with that concept over the course of several levels, and then moving on to the next. And then, like I said, you know, one of the keys to replayability is having either lots and lots and lots of levels, or a small number of levels and some random elements. I think, you know, it would be difficult for you to set up these set pieces in levels with randomness. So I think you just need to add more levels to the game. 30 isn't going to cut it. And that's it for me.
Yeah, so there was actually 3 stars in the end. Nice work. Okay, and Sandeep, a minute for you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the criticism, actually. I knew about these problems, but as I said earlier, I surrendered to the fact that I made this game quite in a hurry because I had a vacation of like 5 days. So I really wanted to make a new concept game. It's not a new conceptual game, but okay, I guess I do accept all the faults in the game. It's okay, thank you. I think I might use this in my earlier game, and I will actually use this in my later game, in my future game actually. And yeah, it's kind of, it's helpful actually for developers like me for independent, because I don't get to test play it to most of the people, because my family members are not like not like into the game, so they like okay, study. So basically, I have to make the game at late at night when they go to sleep, so that they don't watch me actually making the game and all. Say they think that it's a waste of time or all. So yeah, so I cannot actually show them and test my game into to them. But yeah, I have to test my game. So I sometimes the difficulties are like ups and downs, because what I think that the game is, I think that the level is difficult, but it does not turn out to be that difficult. Or when I think that it's easy, it becomes super difficult. So basically, yeah, it's like a bad side of working alone or something. But it's a great thing that you just said. Thank you very much for that.
I'll give you my card after this, and I'll be a tester.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and thank you so much, Peter, for judging. And the next speaker is James Barnard. The game is called Tiny Dice Dungeon, and let's watch a trailer for the game, okay? Yay!
Will end soon. So yeah, there it is. That's my game pitch. Oh, obviously, I'll talk about something. I haven't looked at these slides since I made them, so I can't remember what's on them, and it was about 3 weeks ago. So who am I? Oh, you. Are you Mr. Unity?
I am.
This game was not made using Unity. Okay, so I'm just getting one in before you start getting them at me, you know? This is my one chance, you know? Okay, so the game was built on a very simple mechanic. It was kind of based on gambling. It's like you can keep on rolling dice to build up your attack power. You can keep on getting more and more and more attacks. And as you can see, if you roll a 1, well, that's supposed to be a picture of 1, you'll skip a turn. And you won't actually get to do your attack, whereas you can press attack whenever you want to perform your attack. So that's a very addictive nature. People always want to push their luck as much as they can. Leads to frustration for some players because they think the game's cheating them. They're like, why am I getting a 1? It's like you've got a 1 in 6 chance of getting a 1. So it's always going to happen. But it's funny. It kind of plays on the way people's kind of minds work and that kind of thing. So as you continue to play, you find these dice shards that fall out of monsters and come out of chests and all kinds of things. And you use those to build these custom dice. And these custom dice have different effects, such as they multiply your attack, or they might be good against certain elements, or health dice, things like that. So that's kind of that leads into the monetization system of the game. Because we have, actually I don't have a slide for it. Let's go through quickly. Is there one? No. Giving no slide about monetization. So you collect items in the game that you can smash into these pieces to build you dice quicker if you want to buy them. So if you roll the exact amount of health that the enemy has, then you get to catch them. So it's like, risk reward. And if you roll more than the enemy's health, then that turns into health for you. There's lots of monsters to catch, so it's like the Pokemons, all with different dice. So there's kind of massive search mechanic in the game that you're trying to find all these monsters and see what dice they've got. Maybe they've got the ultimate ones that you've been after to make your perfect monster. Level up your heroes. They can store more monsters. So there's a kind of very long-term goal in it. There you go. There's the premium currency system. There's a town that you can build. I'm sure you're going to say there's an awful lot of content in this game, and it's confusing. But this town was built as a way to shortcut through to the individual customization pieces of the game, because the menu is getting quite confusing. So we tried to simplify it by building this town, which seemed to be quite effective. And it gives you kind of an overall thing that you're trying to achieve in the game. And there's our amazing Pokemon-inspired poster. And obviously, it's published by Congregate, so anything you say to me, David can help. There's an army here, army of defense. Yeah, so let's do it, man. Let's rumble.
Hey guys, so let's talk about Tiny Dice Dungeon. Oh yeah? Okay. So I didn't realize that the creators of the game would be given a chance to defend themselves before I attacked them, but so first of all, one of the things I really hated about this game was that it was really hard to hate. It was actually a pretty cool game. So, not my favorite game to slam. So, some of my comments are going to sound kind of petty, but I hope they're useful. So, Tiny Dice Dungeon is a casual combat RPG where you combat monsters using dice. That's what I got out of it, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I wish I had a magic dice that explained the user interface to me. Because, man, some of those icons are unclear. It's not obvious where a button press will take you. The OK button appears in random places. This is just me being fussy, but I like consistency in design. And do you actually know how your player's eyes work? Because that matters. So what does this symbol mean? And here I am, I'm in this screen, and I click on the adventurer because that's me clicking with my paw, with my red paw. So I'm clicking on the adventurer because that brings you to the hero selection screen. Cool, okay, and the hitting OK here brings you back to, the quest screen. Hello, what's going on here? Obviously, you want to go to the quest screen. Why would you want to go back to the map, right? The OK button appears in random places. So here it's in my favorite place, bottom right. And here it's bottom left. And over here it's top left. Whoops. So, I don't know, just a little bit of consistency in design. So, how do your players' eyes work is, do you know how people are scanning the screen? That's all I meant. Cool? Okay. So I also wish I had magic dice, and this is a pet peeve, this is me, that explained the popularity of pixelated graphics. Okay, it's retro, yep, I got it. It's indie, okay, cool. But man, it's everywhere, isn't it? And the pixels are different sizes and can rotate. What? These are not the pixels I grew up with, but okay. And some of the stuff is pixelated and some is smooth. So this is marked out for you. It's a little bit weird to me, but it's just inconsistent. No worries. So why did you choose the pixelated art style? And what was the design rationale? Because I don't necessarily see one. But fair enough. You have a minute after this, right? Yeah. So I finally, this is probably my biggest problem, is that I wish I had magic dice that explained the game rules. So, or a dice that put pictures in the manual. I'll have a look at that in a minute. So, annoyingly, you can go online and find the rules on the website with no link to the game. Or you can get the game and look in the manual that is text only. Seriously? Seriously. 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 And it's freemium, so don't get me started. That's, again, just me. So thanks for exposing your vulnerable underbelly to the rusty sword of Sorn and mockery. You are braver than I. Thank you.
Wow, it was fantastic. And would you like to say a couple of words? why you use so much text in your games? Too much text. Explain yourself.
Enough words.
I can explain myself with pictures. So the OK button. I would like to point out that you missed a deep subtlety within our game. You've played those kind of Where's Waldo games, right? Where you have to find him. So we wanted to move the OK button around, so it was a challenge for you and a fun experience for the user. We believe every single element of our game should be gamified, and this is one of them. Unfortunately, you did not understand the subtlety of my design. I'm very disappointed. Why do we use pixels? Pixel art monsters are quicker to draw, of course. And I can draw them, because I can't really draw. Unfortunately, that's part of the reason. And I think it looks cool, obviously. And you would find about rotating pixels that if you went back and looked at the way things like the Mega Drive work, that when you scale up a sprite, you can actually rotate the sprite. It is possible, and it will rotate, and the pixels will rotate. It's only if you have a 1-to-1 ratio of your pixels with the screen that this becomes an issue. The Game Boy Advance, for example, had very good sprite rotation. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, actually. Maybe I'm just talking out my arse. I don't know. Because, yeah, that's it, really. I think. What else did you complain about? Oh, the UI? Yeah, the UI is a mess. Yeah, it is a bit. But, and the manual was written by, I wrote it first, and then David's colleague, Peter, had a go at rewriting it. So I'm sure he'll have some things to say to you after this. Anything else was there? No?
Oh, it wasn't made in Unity, so.
Yeah, indeed. I'm waiting for Unity to have a. I'm not gonna go there. No, thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Thanks so much, James. Okay. Also, thanks to our judge, Scammell. Thank you very much. You guys were fantastic. And okay, and please welcome Diptoman Mukherjee with his speech for Meanwhile in a Parallel Universe.
Okay, so Meanwhile in a Parallel Universe is a game about a human apocalypse, and here's the trailer. Okay, so this is basically a side view castle defense game where the main aim is to protect the zombies. Where the main aim is to protect the zombies' mainframe on the castle here from the humans and survive. You have to collect and maintain resources and form your undead army based on those resources to continue. The controls here are pretty intuitive. You tap on everything to do in-game. So basically you tap on enemies to assign priority to them based on which the zombies will attack them. and you operate the game through menus which you control by tapping. There are 3 kinds of menus: the create zombie menu, the effects menu, and the building menu. The names are pretty much self-explanatory, I guess. And the buildings and special effects, for buildings, you can use buildings to create zombies from them, and you can then upgrade them and upgrade different kinds of zombies from those buildings, and you use special abilities of those zombies. And you can use certain effects which give more control to the player. So like effects can either aid a zombie or like destroy humans and stuff like that. For example, the mass conversion effect shown here converts all humans under its spell to zombies after they die. The game progression, there are basically 9 campaign levels, each with something new, either a new building or a new kind of zombie. And after you finish all the campaign levels, there's endless mode, which you can compete to carry a high score. And each level progresses with more humans, each more difficult than the previous. There are different kinds of humans. They may drop from, they may parachute down, or they may drop from trucks, or there are different kinds of other vehicles like tanks and stuff. And finally, there's a whole manual for all the stuff that there's in the game. So you can refer to them at any time in case there's confusion, because it's so again, there's this endless mode for high scores, which you can unlock and then continue. The game's not available yet. It will be available on Android and iOS completely free, free of ads and no freemium model. So that's just about it. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to show the video first of judging?
Before I show a video that I was asked to do, I want to say that Diptoman's a nice guy. I went up to him before this earlier today, and I said, "Hey, I'm judging your game. Will you let me see your slides?" So he actually gave me his slides, and I am actually going to slam him and his game using his own slides. So, and the other thing was, they asked me to create these slides like 2 months ago, and I did it like 2 hours ago. And but in the interim, I did have help judging. They asked me to create a video, so here's a video. Sophie, what do you think of the game?
I really like it.
Yeah? Was it hard to learn how to play?
At first, yeah, but now it's fun.
Do you like the graphics?
What are graphics?
The artwork.
Yeah, someone draw them? Yeah, they're cool.
Would you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I would give it a thumbs up.
What would you want to fix about it? Or what would you change about it?
Nothing.
Nothing? Would you pay for it?
Yeah.
If you had money?
Yeah. Hey!
Anyway, that was my 9-year-old daughter, and that's about the nicest stuff you're going to hear from my family on this. So, okay, cool. So I work for Exit Games, and we are a multiplayer middleware provider. So it's single player? Like what? It's fun to play alone, but it'd be much more fun to kill zombies or kill humans with other people. So use Photon and make it multiplayer. So gameplay and controls, yeah, it's intuitive, and I used the tutorial and read the instructions, but still had trouble truly understanding what to do. I wasn't really sure what each zombie really did and which ones I should create and when. And once the zombies are created, you can't control their movement, so they're just randomly placed, and it would have been better if I could, control them to attack the humans, etc., or go back and feed the brain or pick up the dead bodies and things like that. Again, when playing the game, you've got to create zombies, and to create zombies at certain times, you have to create certain buildings, and when you have enough zombies and enough power, you can use special effects. But I really wasn't sure when I needed to create certain buildings and and what to use, what special effects to use, when and why. And also, you couldn't, there were no shortcut keys or sidebar controls. If I wanted to create something, or I want to create a new zombie or use a special effects, I had to go to the menu, stop the game, and have them created. So that was kind of a bummer. Game progression, I suck because I couldn't get past level 3, but I'm sure it's great. So it was super fun, but hard for me to move beyond level 3. I guess I am not very good. So final thoughts. You got to make it multiplayer and use Photon. I would say give better insight onto what the zombies do, what zombies you need to create and when and why, and let me control the zombie movement. But most importantly, I think you did a great job, and for you to be willing to sit up here and get slammed by a guy like me shows you're a good guy. So good job.
Okay, so the main issue I see here is a lack of a tutorial. Right, lack of a proper tutorial. We are actually working on that at the moment. It's not released yet, so we are working to make the ideas better, to give the player a better idea when to create what. We're working on that. And about the zombie movement, that was an initial idea, but I thought that would be too complicated for, it's already riddled with too much controls. So that would become too complicated. You can partially control the zombie movement by assigning a priority to the humans. But that's not enough, I can get that. And yeah, someone actually suggested to me today that you can add multiplayer, you can either choose to play on the sides of the zombies or the humans. That would be a great addition. But yeah, I will keep that in mind. So thank you for the criticism.
Thank you very much, Diptoman, and thank you very much, Tom. Now I would like to introduce Barry Silvestre, keyboard, who will pitch his game Rubik's.
Hello. Hi, David. You look good today. My name is Barry Silvestre, and I'm most probably known as the one who made the pretentious game. But I'm not going to talk about it because we have had a lot of pretentious games already. Actually, pretentious game is now out on Steam, so promotion aside, I'm going to talk about squares. So pretentious game is again a minimalistic game about squares. So we'll watch the trailer first. So there's the trailer. So you have probably seen what the gameplay will be like. So the game has no tutorial. Next. That's the tutorial. So it's swipe to play. So instead of pushing button, you have to figure out yourself. You're an adult now. So So I've tested the game with my friends, and so I fix it. So sometimes they just swipe so much, but so I try to limit the swiping, so it will lock down at the middle, and they will notice that the game will start when you swipe the game to the middle. Okay. So it's a sliding block puzzle where you form recognizable patterns. Simple swiping controls experienced in title screen, no tutorials. It brings nostalgia by creating patterns that form characters from popular culture. You can brag your number of moves after beating a level. You can also share that character you recognize from childhood and start a conversation. It should be a free mobile game for iOS, Android, and Flash, but it will be premium in iOS because we're a greedy bastard. So, so it's easy to play. It's swipe a row or column, and the colored square at one side will wrap around to the other side. It's challenging because you can't brute force a level. I know I did, and my wife just laughed at me. So he showed me the solution, and I realized that there's a technique on how to solve the level. If not, you'll just go on loop and you'll go in circle solving the level. So it's a combination of Rubik's Cube, which I have heard they celebrated 40 years yesterday, and a combination of pixel art. So here's what you're gonna get. This, by the way, are made by David Stoll. He was featured in Kotaku for his 4x4 pixel art. So, can you guess which these characters are, and you'll get a pretentious shirt. I can't tell which one of you guess. Pikachu. Yes. Sonic the Hedgehog. The other one? Who said that? Donkey Kong. Come over here. Okay, so if this is not your size, come by. Come by at my booth and I will give you the correct size. Or come down, but okay. Thankfully, this is not a quiz app. We've had enough quiz apps. So, but it's still addictive and fun. It makes us feel smarter than others, right? Did you feel that? It brings nostalgia and memorable happy events, like that feeling when you played Sonic. It's a conversation starter and is perfect for passing time. I play this game when I'm waiting in the banks. So bells and whistles. I have no idea what bells and whistles means, but I've read it a lot in game magazines. So I just put everything I wanted to add here. And this is the last slide. So you start with 3x3 grid and you gradually make your way to 4x4 up to 8x8. You can also solve a level with the least possible moves, so you can beat your best number of moves. You can also try free play mode, and there's a button there that will reshuffle the arrangement, so you can play the level again from a different starting point. And we have also 25 playable achievements, so the icon for achievements can be played. So for example, the Curious Cat, that's another level for you to solve. So we have a total of 175 levels. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. It was great. And your judge and critic is going to be David Chiu. Congregate. I hope this is right size. Oh. Okay, please take your seat.
Hi, everybody. So I'll be slamming rub picks. So, well, this is the title screen. And the first thing that I was wondering about was the game icon. It's like, what is that? Is it a guy with glasses or boobs? So, and then the next screen you see is the level select. So this is the screen you see. Now all the levels besides level 1 are blurred out. So that made me think. The title is called Rub Pics, about rubbing pixels together, plus the logo that may or may not be boobs, blurred out images. So can I play this game at work? So I made sure I got off work VPN before I started playing the game. So level select, apparently you can scroll all the way down to level 150. That's the longest scroll bar I've ever seen. So I was thinking, how about breaking it up into smaller chunks of levels? I know you can press 4x4, 6x6, and so on to jump to that level, but it's still a very massive scroll bar. Then I try to play the first level. I'm just not really sure what to do because there's no tutorial. I didn't know that was on purpose because I'm supposed to be an adult and can figure it out. So I was just swiping around randomly, not knowing what to do. Then I'm like, oh, there's that image on top. Maybe I should match that. And I do that, and success. Tells me I had a flawless victory. So I go on to level 2. But I actually make a couple of mistakes, but it still tells me I made a flawless victory. So, thought that was kind of weird. So I thought, hey, so how does this game grade you? So let's experiment. I make a lot more mistakes on purpose, 21 moves in total, and see what the game said. So it told me I did superb. Let's do more. 51 moves. I still did excellent according to the game. And now let's take it to the extreme. 105 moves, and I still did excellent according to the game. So I felt that the game gave you a false sense of self-worth. So, it's like elementary school when everyone gets a trophy for participating. So it's like even if you lose and come in dead last, you still get a trophy because you played. And then I played through some more levels. And some of them I thought were pretty clever. Oh, Mr. T, that's pretty cool pixel art and recognizable. Flower, that's pretty simple. And then I thought, this one I actually really liked. I thought it was a shout out to another indie game developer, indie game. And then just a little while ago, I realized it was the developer of the same game. So it's more like, shameless self-promotion. And then this level, I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while, but I don't know if that really looks like Sub-Zero or a human. So, Rupix gets increases in difficulty and grid size as you play. And making it more difficult to complete the picture because as you move one piece, all the other pieces move. So it dislodges those pieces. So you either see it or you don't. So it's kind of like a simple version of a Rubik's Cube, which the developer just said that's what it was based on. So this felt more like a riddle than a puzzle to me, because you never know if you're making the right move or not. You're always, almost quite there, but not always. So this can lead to frustration, like when you play with a Rubik's Cube. So now I want to see a show of hands. How many people actually have fun playing with a Rubik's Cube? 2, 3, okay. I guess there are Some pretty smart people in this room, a lot smarter than me. So essentially, this is a game that's similar to some other games that we've seen on Congregate. And by the way, for this presentation, I got help from some colleagues. So this is a slam by many people at Congregate. So you solve a color-based level, and you get a picture as a reward. But in RubPix, you get the completed picture even before you start the level. So there's no like aha moment, or there's not that sense of satisfaction when you see the completed picture that you built up. And in this game, you earn 5 coins per level that you complete. Or you can buy coins in the shop. And you can use 15 coins to skip a level if you get stuck on that level. And with 150 levels, you can essentially beat the game by spending $16. But my question is, if I get stuck, why would I want to spend money so I can get stuck again at a later level? And it's like paying for the opportunity to get frustrated again. Especially because there's no incentive to progress. There's no leaderboards, competitions with competition with friends, and so forth. And the sharing on Twitter and Facebook didn't work on the build I got, so couldn't really do that. So with very simple puzzle games, it's very hard to monetize with a free-to-play model with in-game currency. So I'm thinking maybe you should consider selling level packs instead. And it'll probably and integrate ads. It'll probably make more revenue from ads than from in-app purchases. And also have very realistic expectations about monetization and the success of the game. And ask yourself, what does success of the game mean to you? Are you aiming to do this game quickly and just get a whole bunch of installs to get your name and brand out there, or are you expecting to make millions and billions of dollars with this game? And that's it.
Okay. So the build you have probably is the one I sent like 3 weeks ago. So everything you said is already in the works and in the update and on the list, or we will consider adding it on for the games, because the Android version we have ads there and interstitial, and for the iOS version we have it will be a premium, it will be paid up, and you can like cheat to win. So you can unlock all the levels but less cost, because that's what we have planned. I'm going with a publisher, by the way, and it will be released next week. So that's another shameless promotion. So May 29. For the game, it's blurred, right? So I was thinking about showing the icon, but I think about maybe the player wants to see the next level, because in pretentious game they want to know the next level, what it will be like, what the story will be like. So also the logo is actually a test on how much porn you have watched. So actually, and I have watched as many as you probably. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. And then, what else? Yeah, it's similar to PatPix. So I took, did you mention PatPix or some other Pix game in Congregate? So it's actually the same idea. But instead of beating the level to see the image you will make, you want to beat the level so you can see the next level. So you can see Sonic, and then what more can this game bring for me? And frustration, maybe it's not the right market, but there's a market for those who likes Unblock Me and those who likes Rubik's Cube. Yeah, but I have never solved a Rubik's Cube.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, David. Thank you, panel of judges. And